Shifting gears a bit, what do you see as the most important functions of a county commissioner? Mr. Uribe.
I think the most important thing is to listen to our constituents and to be a strong voice for them at the commission meetings and to carry with the will of those communities in which we represent to that county commission meeting. I believe that we need to respect the constituents and at the same time respect others who may have a different idea or a different point of view and work together to come to a resolve. I think it's important that we have good working relationships with those elected officials. They can make the policies and changes to give us a quality of life that we all desire. Too many times I listen to people, and I myself have come to county commission meetings and come to our commissioners and elected officials asking for help in our community. And I think the most important is to develop relationships so that we can get a result, a positive result for a good quality of life in our community.
Mr. Alvarez.
I think the major role of the county commission is to hire the county manager. In the setup of the organizational chart, the county manager is a chief executive officer. So the county manager is in charge of all county employees, other than your elected county official and his appointee, whether it's an undersheriff or a chief deputy. Other than that, the county manager is in charge to, along with the director of the human resources, the rest of the county employees. Also, I believe that since you are an elected official, you are a public servant. So that makes your duty to listen to the public, take that information, take that data, take those concerns, take those challenges to the county manager. You are not interfering with personnel matters. They made a big deal about it a couple years ago about warning county commissioners and the sheriff interfering with personnel matters, violating the code of conduct. Just because you listen to a constituent and you take that constituent's concerns to the county manager.
I mean, sorry about that. You interrupted me.
Sorry.
I don't want any back and forth, sir.
No, please, I'm asking you. Are you going to stop him? You stopped me.
And forth, please.
You stopped me. You didn't stop Lynn. You didn't stop him. But you stopped me.
Sorry about that.
Mr. Owens.
Having served on a 9-member higher education state university board in Colorado, I know something about what it's like to sit on a board. The board is a policy-making body. The board is not a micromanagement agency body. The role of the board is to set policy for the county and to develop the annual budget. And unfortunately, to take up too many damn proclamations at their meetings because it really puts people working day way out of whack. And if one of the things I would do is try and reduce the number of proclamations that are routinely taken out of every meeting. But the major thing is don't micromanage. That's hard for some board members not to do, but I've seen it happen, and it's not a pretty thing.
Mr. Jimenez.
I'm doing it, I believe now. It's listening to the people. That's what a commissioner does. That's why, I'm going to repeat what Mr. Rivas said, but that's what it's about. I learned from Oscar Vasquez Butler. I'd call him when they were doing our water lines, and I'd call him because they messed up our road and they didn't make it wide enough. They would try to cheat us out of like 5 inches on either side. Anywhere he was there in 15 minutes. I don't know how he got there, but he did. And that's the kind of commissioner that I choose to be. That I'm already doing that with the Colonia's Infrastructure Board. I speak to people all across the entire southern part of the state and listen to their needs, listen to what's really grinding their butts to the bone, and get down to brass tacks and work with each other and get things passed and help people with a better quality of life. That's what commissioners do. They listen to people and they help people have a better quality of life in the county that they live in. Thank you.
Ms. Reyes.
I believe that aside from hosting regular community meetings and knocking on doors in your district, I believe that it's important to attend all of the boards. Each county commissioner sits on between 5 to 7 boards representing the county at the state and regional level. Some of the boards, such as the Health and Human Services, the current commissioner sitting on that board hasn't attended many of the meetings, well, actually any of the meetings that manage the Telshore Fund or Live Well Initiative, which is the money from the leasing of the Memorial Hospital. And as a commissioner, I believe it's your job to make sure that on these boards that money is being spent efficiently and that decisions are being made in the best interest of your constituents. I also believe it's important to fund vital programs and to carefully look over the budget and make sure that you are spending money appropriately and to make sure that meetings are efficient. This would include having more work sessions to reduce the drawn-out meetings that discourage constituents from participating. Thank you.
Having discussed what you see as the most important functions of a county commissioner, how will your skills and experience help you serve your district's constituents in carrying out these functions? Mr. Alvarez.
The fact that I'm born and raised here in Doña County and that I have spent at least 20 years in District 1 working with individuals, working with organizations, working in all the way up to the Santa Teresa area, that I have developed building relationships with certain community leaders in those areas. And the primary role is the ability to listen and to respect and treat everyone with dignity and respect. And take that concerns and those challenges that those individuals have communicated to us, to the appropriate level, whether it's the county manager or the other fellow county commissioners, and to work and collaborate in a professional, dignified manner, following the code of conduct. That code of conduct has been violated in the past, and as far as I'm concerned, that hurts the ability to govern in an effective manner.
Mr. Ellis.
Would you repeat that question, please?
How will your skills and experience help you serve your district's constituents in carrying out these, that is, what you see as the most important functions of a county commissioner?
Still not sure I understand the question, but I'll try to answer. I've had the governmental experience already behind me. I know what it is to serve the people. I've made some tough decisions, either as a university regent or as a county clerk. And I'm willing to stand up and stand behind them. And I still don't understand the question. Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez.
That's classic. I love it. I understand the question, I think. I'm just Orlando Jimenez. I know my friend Adela in Berino, and I know my friend Jenny Segura in Picacho Hills. And I'm the same person that I am in Berino that I am in Picacho Hills. The person that's going to listen to the people's needs. That is my biggest skill, is that I listen very well to people and what they want and what they need. And the fact that I served on the Brianna Foundation board, that is another skill that I believe that I'm able to be compassionate towards people and what they're feeling and why they're hurting, and bring that kind of compassion to the board of county commission. Yeah.
Ms. Reyes.
I'm young, educated, and I have the motivation and energy to fight for all of us and our shared values. Being a 15th generation New Mexican that also has experience living in other states, such as Southern California, I understand the culture and values of people in my district, from those in the city to the colonias. I also have experience seeing good social and environmental policies put in practice with in perspective to the needs of the communities. I'm a good listener, and I also have experience working in various municipalities. I understand how understaffed and overworked our county employees are, and I value them. And I believe that a part of being a commissioner is understanding and working with the county to better serve the public. Thank you.
Mr. Uribe.
I just want to say hi to our Senator Mary Kay Tapin, who's our pro tem. I've developed over the years through my elders, especially my tío Leo Doña, people like Dr. Garcia, Oscar Vasquez Butler, to work with our elected officials. People like Jeff Steinborn. I've been able to bring people together who have had issues and go to our elected officials and those that can help us. We've been able to bring positive change into our communities. I've stood side by side with members of our community when we had issues with groundwater contamination or just trying to get a park paved with our skateboard parks or grass in the fields or our roads paved. But the respectful relationships with those that can bring the positive change, I have developed. I know who they are, and we have brought change. I want to say thank you to those elected officials. Every time that stop sign comes up, you stop me, but you don't stop anybody else. I'd appreciate it. No, I'm just telling you. Please don't do that
Displaying
anymore.
personal characteristics.
Respect me.
Define infrastructure as it pertains to attracting business. Mr. Ellis.
As it pertains to what?
Attracting business.
Well, let's take the bus line, for instance. That can be considered infrastructure. And if people can't get around town and get from the rural areas to the municipal areas, that's going to have a direct effect on business because you just don't have the audience to work with without ever being able to get there. The 37 colonias that we have in this county, 9 in District 1, that's a disincentive for business because people are not gainfully employed enough to spend enough money to make it an encouragement for business to open up here. To me, that's the biggest infrastructure problem we have, aside from the billions of dollars that we need to raise, and which we probably will, to correct all the deficiencies in the 37 colonias we have. If you read the reports, it's very, very discouraging.
Mr. Jimenez.
I've always advocated for having a small pharmacy with the bigger grocery in the area of La Mesa, San Miguel, Bado del Cerro. But one of the biggest reasons they can't is because the infrastructure can't support a neighborhood Walmart. They can't, we don't have the water for it, we don't have the sewer system for it. We now in La Mesa have a very good system, but that speaks to the needs of the people. That's why we can't be gainfully employed and stay in La Mesa. We need to come to Las Cruces to be employed. It would be great as if we could have that kind of infrastructure system set up out in the rural areas to where we can have bigger businesses like that come in and offer employment opportunities and growth, economic growth to the outlying colonias. Thank you.
Ms. Reyes.
Infrastructure related to various businesses, I believe it's important that we not only have broadband access, we also have roads that are safe and can carry different commercial vehicles' weight on them. We need our roads to also be paved enough so that our emergency vehicles and our officers are able to safely travel and help people when in need. I also believe that we need to have more utility services and access built in and put the infrastructure already ready in some of the rural areas. A lot of them have aging infrastructure which is constantly failing. And related to businesses, I also am supportive of incentives for those moving into the colonias and conducting a feasibility study towards incentivizing businesses to buy local and to commit the county's purchasing policy to reflect those decisions as well. I'm also interested in streamlining paperwork for developers to kind of have a one-stop shop instead of having them go to various different offices and pay their fees and so forth.
Mr. Reba.
We don't even have the infrastructure to bring the businesses in right now. We need to really focus in on that. We need to sit there and address that. We need to address the roads, the access to water, and then the skill of our communities and the people that live in there, the job training. In order for us to be sexy enough to bring these jobs in, we need to have the job pool and the infrastructure. And then the tax incentives from our county that we give away for like spaceports, or the taxes, that we give away for business incentives, those need to come back into our communities to support those businesses that want to be here. But I am proud to sit there and say, hey, there's some good.
I think the improvement of the airport, putting in an adequate radar system. I have met with one of the county commissioners along with some of the veterans in our community, which is a vast knowledge of people that have worked, of course, in the government and have worked all over the world. That would help, I think, funding transit. I think the fact that setting up enterprise work areas, also the fact that we have a lot of retired people here that have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience in major corporations, that have worked at General Motors, that have degrees from Harvard, and they have retired here in Doña County. And we need to utilize those individuals, I see Mary Lee Souls right there, and have them work with the county on a weekly basis to set up ideas and projects in order for us to expand our infrastructure and expand our business community and bring in those Fortune 500 corporations. Thank you.
We'll have closing statements of 2 minutes in reverse order of the opening statements. So, Mr. Alvarez, 2 minutes.
I want to thank the Democratic Party and everyone that organized this forum. I believe it is essential in democracy that each one of us has a voice in our community, that each one of us has the opportunity to put our 2 cents and let our leaders and our candidates, very highly qualified candidates that we have here for county commission, that any one of these individuals here on the dais would make a great county commissioner. I think being a lifelong Democrat, being born and raised here in Doña County, have 34 years of experience, public service here in Doña County and in northern New Mexico, makes me qualified to be a county commissioner and someone that is going to be a voice for those that do not have a voice, those that have been marginalized in our communities. Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez.
My name is Orlando Jimenez. You all know me. I've lived in Doña County for 47 years. I don't want to lie. I went for 3 years to Orlando to go study voice. But I'm more than a singer. I have a mic in my hand right now and I haven't uttered one note.
Thank you.
It's hard, but I haven't. Because that's not really who I am anymore. Yeah, I'll still sing for your events and wherever you want me to sing the national anthem, I'll do it because it's fun and I love it and I'm proud. But it's time for change in Doña County, folks. It's time for change, and we have to get back to governing for the people and get rid of the silliness at the county level and just work together to make this a beautiful, more beautiful place to live in Doña County. 18 years, ever since I started with Mary Kay Pinkman. Again, people keep name dropping, but I'm going to keep name dropping that one right there because it's her fault that I'm here. And for 18 years, I've been preparing for this position, to be county commissioner. That's my life goal right now, to be county commissioner and to help the people of District 1. There's a lot of people here from District 1. A lot of the people from District 1 in our area aren't here because they're probably already asleep getting ready to go work on the farms tomorrow. So they didn't have time to come here. So I ask for your consideration. If you have any questions for me afterwards, I will be in the back. Please feel free to ask me. 18 years, remember that I've been studying 18 years, everybody's different roles in the county and how I can best help. So thank you very much. My name's Orlando Jimenez, and I humbly ask for your vote on June 5th.
Mr. Ellis.
The mark of a good county commissioner is knowing how to set priorities. And when it comes to budget matters, that's a very important trait to have. I have a proven record of achievement for the county. I made some tough decisions. I made a legal and humane decision to issue marriage licenses to members of the opposite sex, a decision which was upheld by our state Supreme Court. That was important. But I think more important is I inherited an office that was in chaos, particularly on the Bureau of Elections side when I became supervisor of elections. I pride myself on a high degree of customer service my office provided during my 8 years as county clerk. We were once the laughing stock of the state. Ballot boxes found in the men's room, things like that. That doesn't happen anymore. I have a good, trained, capable staff. Customer service was our hallmark. We have received many accolades on the way my office treated the public, and remains the same. And so I ask for your vote. I can hit the ground running. I don't need any in-house training, on-the-job training. I've been there for 11 years. I've dealt with every department in the county. I know what the issues are, and I think I know how to solve them. Thank you very much.
Ms. Reyes?
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. So I dedicated my life to public service at the age of 14. I began my career as an activist at the age of 16. I presented my first bill in economic analysis to City Council nearly a decade ago at the age of 17. We need that passion and dedication in the County Commission chambers. If elected, I will work to address poverty and food insecurity, vote to expand transit, affordable housing, renewable energy, and general sustainability to include buying local. We need to make smart investments in our community. We need to invest in business incubators and training programs for our youth because college isn't for everyone. I will also work to improve broadband access in our public infrastructure from roads to community centers. I will introduce a homeless bill of rights and work to diversify the county's revenue stream. I'm also interested in representing the county at the regional and state level on boards that manage our water and natural resources, health and human services to include mental health and substance abuse programs, and education. At my core is the heart of an activist that always has and always will fight for a better tomorrow. All of my life I've taken care of my siblings, my elders, my family, and now I want to take care of our community. Once again, my name is Antoinette Reyes. I would appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Uribe.
I think you all can tell I'm not a typical candidate. I'm a rough around the edges. I'm very passionate, and I care about my community, the people that live by me, and the people in Doña. I'm a fighter, and I'm a proven fighter. Google my name. I've stood with communities to help resolve issues that came before us. We've been able to do that. I've helped get roads paved. I've helped with communities where we needed access to our community centers. I've worked with communities to develop a civic conscience to understand the importance of our vote, and that's our voice. We've worked to elect people in our communities so that they would represent us, and I think we've done a good job. I've sat there and helped with the Colonias initiative, something that people said, wouldn't happen, and it did. And now we have a Colonias Infrastructure Trust Fund that generates millions of dollars for infrastructure in our communities that we can leverage with the feds and work with our elected officials to bring in capital outlay. I can show you what we've done in our communities, not just in Mesquite, but across Doña. I believe that even though I may not be your typical candidate, I am a strong voice for you, not for wanting to be a county commissioner. I want to be your county commissioner. My name is Arturo Uribe, and I ask for your vote June 5th. And just since Mr. Lynn Ellen's been able to ask questions, how many of you guys already voted in District 1? All right, well, I hope I'm appealing to you that didn't vote. Thank you.
We now have heard from all of the candidates, all the Democratic candidates for County Commission District 1. Let's thank you for their presentation.